that to try to get around a Supreme Court opinion that said, if you take the money and you give it right to the schools, that's unconstitutional because the South Carolina Constitution says you can't do it. We decide to launder the money through a third party and say, hey, we can't give it to them, but you do it for us, right? Let's forget that part. Is the state prepared? And this is what we have to think about when we talk about these programs. $1.455 billion. Now, why do I bring that up? Because I despise this bill. This bill will not help any of the kids who live in the part of the state that I not only represent, that I live in and that I grew up in. Bamberg County, total population approximately 14,000 people, 83.6% of students living in poverty. And that don't mean that them or their parents are bums. That's called employment problems. That's called lack of economic development. Not just from the local community, but from the state of South Carolina. You see, Spartanburg popping. Charleston County, parts of Charleston County, popping. Parts of Greenville County, popping. But come down that I-95 corridor to our neck of the woods. 83.6% of students in poverty. Let's go to neighboring Orangeburg County. 85.6% of students in poverty. Let's go to Colleton County. 86.2% of students in poverty. Let's jump over to Dorchester 4. I wasn't a part of Dorchester delegation before. I'm proud to represent them now. Dorchester 4, 74.9% of students in poverty. Let's go to Allendale County, 93.1% of students in poverty. Let's go to Barnwell County, 84.9% of students in poverty. Let's jump to Hampton County, 84.6% of students in poverty. Jasper County, 79.5% of students in poverty. Williamsburg County, 93.7% of students in poverty. Clarendon County, 82.3% of students in poverty. Now, y'all make it make sense to me how if the state of South Carolina has $95 to $96 million to give to kids who can already afford to go, apparently, because I don't know what $7,500 is going to do to pay no private school tuition. But if we got that kind of money, if we've got money to apportion so 50,000 students can get $7,500 each to go to private schools to the tune of $375 million, what is this going to do for all of those kids living in poverty? You want to know one reason why we're stuck in poverty in places like Bamberg County? Because of Act 388 and the fact that the state of South Carolina, in its great wisdom years ago, said, you know what? Local school districts, you're going to be responsible for almost all of the funding for your school facilities. Now, what did that do to counties like those that I represent is over time, you have to increase your property taxes. 75% of the property taxes in Bamberg County go to pay for school bond debt because these poor counties had to borrow money to fix their school facilities. And you know what you can't do when you got high local property taxes? You can't recruit big employers because those employers only want to go to places where they actually can broker tax incentives. So, if the state is prepared to launch a program that, I don't know, if 100,000 students sign up for, would cost the state $750 million. I don't get it, y'all. And I had to speak today. I know we've been here. I do a lot for my local public schools. I donate money so that the athletic programs, kids can have jerseys. Then the school can spend their money on school supplies. Right now, my house in town in Bamberg, I actually have 5 public school teachers living there, rent free. You know why? Because I live in a county where it is so hard to recruit people that we were short on certified public teachers, Representative Cobb Hunter. Short on certified public teachers. And for those of you who don't know, because you are fortunate and blessed and highly favored enough to be in an area where you've never had to worry about the problems like me, you stand to lose your federal funding and other things. So we have to utilize a program that allows foreign citizens to come in who are certified South Carolina teachers, and they show up a week before school and have no place to stay because we have no hotels. Oh, excuse me, we do. We've got one hotel. I'm sorry, that was unacceptable. So guess what I did? I said, well, y'all could stay in this house. And I spent the money out of my own pocket to renovate the dang building. I spent my own money to furnish an entire house for 5 public school teachers. And I ain't charged a dime in rent. That's how dedicated I am to the people in the area I live in. That's how serious I take this public school stuff. So it really, really irks some of us. Not with members as individuals, from the policy standpoint, from the institutional standpoint, from the fact that some of us live a life where the state has consistently failed our areas and failed our area's people. And then we got to go and see, and I don't care if people don't think $96 million is a lot of money. If you gave my local school district $96 million, we'd be debt-free. Every citizen in my county, their property taxes would decrease by 75%. That means small businesses can hire more people. That means we can continue to work on other things. We can get some public transportation. Ain't no taxi service down there. Ain't no Uber service down there. You ain't Ubering nowhere in Colleton County. You ain't calling Blue Ribbon taxi service in Bamberg County. You ain't door dashing no food over in Allendale County. So I don't know who, for some reason, I wish some people would come and just spend about a year down there with us. Just spend 6 months down there with us. Then you will understand how asinine the concept of, what is it, Representative Cobb Hunter? The $2,500, $3,000 for transportation or something like that? What that gonna do for anybody living down there? Not a doggone thing. And if I'm a working parent and I gotta be at work and I gotta pay somebody maybe, hey, you wanna earn a little money? You wanna take my kid to school every morning, pick them up from school every afternoon? $2,500 ain't gonna get it done. So it ain't gonna benefit anybody living where we live. That money should be used to address public education in our public school districts, because not just the Constitution says so, but because if we can afford to send this money and launder it through a third party to send it to private schools, then we can afford to go and make up for the fact that we left so many local school districts and counties behind during the era of desegregation. Because that is when a lot of these problems started. That is the truth.
Oh, hey, listen. I don't know. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's going on in your local community. I know many of you guys are You're probably fatigued. You know, you're not really, maybe you don't have school age kids. Maybe you are uh not in those positions where it kind of affects your household. Um, maybe it doesn't really matter, But I hear a lot of conversations in reference to the big beautiful bill, the big ugly bill, local government policy in your states. It is now hurricane season. There's no more FEMA. What are we going to do? Texas just had its disaster. So they're the first ones on the chopping block. Or I think it was Tennessee and now Texas. I think. Right? And how do we plan to survive? I know we're making some we have made some changes here in South Carolina. And you just heard one of our legislators speak on how they are funneling 1.4 million through a third party to go to private schools, and no funding is going to public schools. So depriving them of their resources, and how he used funding out of his own pocket to support certified teachers so that their school can have their kids can have educators or sufficient educators in the school system, right? And so I just wanted to kind of share that. And then um this morning I went live and shared some information about the big beautiful bill, as and that's actually what it's called. And you know what I thought? I said, is this a joke? Like, is this just a nickname for it? But is that's actually the name of it? Um, let me see. Can I share my screen? Oh, I can't share my screen on here. Let me see. Um, maybe I can share my screen. No, I can't. Okay, I'd have to switch computers to share my screen. Oh well, I can't share it on there. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna have to get on my laptop in order for me to share my screen. Yes, I'm gonna have to because I need to highlight some information. Now, Chris, you're supposed to be on here. You wanted me to go live, and now you're not here. All right, I can really save this for Wednesday. I don't really have to do this now. Um, yeah. So I'll do this. I'll talk about one of the areas. So one of the areas of the bill they speak about, or many people are concerned about, is the SNAP benefit. So with the SNAP benefit, there's an eligibility rule, right? And one of the things that's going to happen is the amount is it's a froze amount. So the dollar amount that they voted on, it's going to stay in place until it's adjusted again. So it's capped. It's at a cap, right? And there's a work eligibility. So before it was like at 20 hours per month, and then now that has increased to 80 hours, right? So if you're eligible for SNAP benefits down and you're working less than 80 hours, you're going to have to increase that to 80 working hours or volunteer hours, right? Even if the cap is at 200%, so it's at 4. So even if you have more than 4 kids, it's going to be capped at a certain dollar amount. So that's the whole hype about that. Also, and that's between the working ages years of 18 to 65. And I think before it was 18 to 60, but now it goes to 65. So that means if you're between the ages of 60 and 65 and you do not work, guess what? You're going to have to work at least 80 hours if you're not disabled to qualify for those SNAP benefits. Yep, that's right. But if you're a tribal member, you're a caregiver, or you're medically unfit, then you're going to be exempt. Okay. Waivers are going to be harder to get now, right? The states are going to have to submit progress reports, right? And they're going to have to update their systems. Otherwise, you can get kicked out of the system. Okay. And so that's another concern. Where is Chris? Right. So only the elderly or disabled households get standard utility deductions, right? Internet expenses are no longer count towards the SNAP calculation. Okay, get that. Internet expenses are they will no longer count towards your SNAP calculations. Benefit amounts may drop due to the cost deduction changes. So there's some cost deduction changes as well. So let's do this. I'll play. Okay, Chris is not getting on. I could save this up for this some of this for Tuesday. I don't really have to do this right now. Is there anything in particular that you all want to know? Anything in particular? All right. Well, let's see. I cannot. Um. All right. So there's nothing in particular that you guys want to hear. I don't know what Chris is. So said it was coming. He's not here. I'm not. Oh boy. All right. There goes Chris. Peace, power, and profit. What's going on? What you working with? What are we doing? Chris. Okay, you all. I can't hear you. Or maybe you can't hear me. Or maybe I've been live this whole time and nobody can hear me. Are you speaking? Can anybody hear me? Oh man. I should have went live on Zoom.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. What's going on?
What's up, man?
You-
Sorry, I had a little. I was talking to somebody about some investments, so somebody had asked me about it. That's why it took me a little while to get on.
Oh,
It just kept being long-winded and just asking more questions. So I did like a consultation.
got you.
So what did you talk about this morning? Because I seen your post where you said you were saying something you was gonna talk about on urban economic empowerment, but I didn't know what it was you were talking about.
I gave some updates on the big beautiful bill
Mm-hmm.
and some concerns that some folks had. And I played a video.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you give some commentary on it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Let me. I want to play it again, but I'd have to drop off of Garfield's channel because I wouldn't want him to get flagged.
Oh, okay. That's up to you. Don't matter.
But I had dropped it in the chat. It's a really good video. Matter of fact, you should share it with your friends and your family, those who are kind of leery about some of the benefits and how it relates to. What I gather from it is the very fact that they have they're stricken the rules. So your 20-hour work month to be qualified for the SNAP benefits have turned into 80.
Yeah.
And so you got to get up and work or volunteer. And the age for the elderly is not
Mhm.
60 anymore, 65. So that
Mhm.
means if you're between the age of 60 and 65, you got to work too. Um, and so that's gonna fold over into your Medicaid.
Right.
Um, Also, they talked about. Let me get my little notes out. The educational piece. So
Mm-hmm.
it said colleges must report graduate earnings versus tuition. Oh my God. So low rate of returns on school penalized. So poor performing colleges could lose federal aid access.
Mm.
Loan servicers now face stricter rules and oversight. So basically they were saying that with your student loans that you're not like in the master's programs, in like the
Mhm.
postgraduate programs, you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to receive full loan. Like you're not going to be able to borrow the full amount to pay for your entire degree.
Mm.
You're
Okay.
only you're gonna you're gonna you're not gonna be able to get all that money like you used to before.
Yeah.
It said the Pell Grant, if the Pell Grant is expanded for a short-term job training and credential programs that student parents benefit from overlapping tax credit and support, and employer student loan contributions will stay tax free. And so basically, Pell Grants are going to go to those short-term job training type programs, like those apprenticeship type programs, right? And credential programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um Also, it said the focus shifts on open access. You know what? Let's do this. Let's get off of Garfield's because the guy he gives a little bit more details, and I
Uh-huh.
want you to hear it all. And
Okay.
you're gonna